deportation flights of alleged Venezuelan gang members. The White House argues the order was oral and invalid, while the Supreme Court lifted the judge's deportation ban. Oakland is nearing a new mayor, with Lauren Taylor leading Barbara Lee 49% to 45% in early special election returns. The winner will complete recalled Mayor Sheng Tao's term. Both candidates are African American. The Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals has ordered Mississippi to redraw DeSoto County voting district within 7 days to reflect its majority black population. Last year, the court mandated new House and Senate maps for other regions. Ryan Coogler's vampire thriller Sinners, starring black actor Michael B. Jordan, is projected to open with $35 to $50 million, potentially overtaking a Minecraft movie. Sinners holds a 99% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Get VIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
Whoa, now. What's happening, good people? What's going on with you? How you doing? How you doing? Hoping everybody is all right. Hoping you're doing good. And yes, are you ready to have some conversations? We got some guests coming in today. We'll be talking shortly with our folks from LCMC. They're going to be coming in and talking about National Minority Health Month. They're going to supposedly in our 4 o'clock hour. So hopefully we'll hear from them very shortly. Plus, we got to go back to some conversations we had on yesterday. Just making some people feel uncomfortable. That's what we do best. Answer some questions. And when we answer those questions, you find out very quickly that folks are like, oh my God, what we gonna do, what we gonna do? But that's okay. That's what we do. And we want to know. We want to know. So that's what's coming. Hope y'all ready. Hope you're ready. One of the things, too, that was in the news that I'm finding interesting is the fact that they are saying that now we've come up with excuses to find out why we are now getting ready to shut down the NOLA Walk of Fame. Y'all did hear that, right? Yes, ma'am. We're getting ready to shut down the NOLA Walk of Fame, which is interesting. I'm like, how do you boast and put out there as a city that we have these very nice places that we want to honor our folks. We want to honor our folks on the NOLA Walk of Fame, right? But yet now, there's a story in your paper. I don't know if you are paying attention to it. That since we're talking about budgeting right now, that we're going to shut it down. Y'all already got Masterpiece saying, He's already asking the questions, who is behind all of this? Who's the ones that's behind that? We'll ask some questions and hopefully not make a whole bunch of people feel uncomfortable when we do. But just in case they feel uncomfortable, get comfortable. It's already in the paper. Just answer the questions. That's all they got to do. Answer the question. But I'm going to be nice because I got company right now. See, y'all came in right when so I was about to throw the red beans and the rice out, but y'all got here in time enough. So now we got the red beans and the rice still in the pan. So since y'all here, all right, ladies, welcome. How y'all doing?
We're doing well.
Introduce yourselves, please.
Okay. You want to go first?
Sure. So I'm Dr. Magali Sotras.
You can move that around to your liking.
Perfect. So I'm Dr. Magali Sotras. I'm a family medicine physician, and I am in the Hispanic Health Center.
Doctor.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a Dr. Shante Joseph.
Both of y'all doctors.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say they done sent the babies over here.
No.
No.
The creams are working.
It's our retinoids.
That's all right. That's good.
It's
genes.
our skincare routine.
Good genes. Good genes. How about that then? Yes, indeed. Welcome. First of all, this y'all first time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not only did they send the babies, they sent the virgins. They didn't even know who I was. They didn't know. They by yourselves?
By ourselves. We can handle it.
What they tell y'all before y'all came? Be like, don't play with him. He kind of crazy.
They told us say a prayer first. I'm just kidding. No, they didn't tell us anything.
No, they were about right. They were about right. You all have been doing some great things at LCMC, and I keep telling. Talked to Tony and all the folks,
Yes.
that they're doing some great stuff. And of course, you all bring up months that we've never heard of before. But I'm like, okay, is it really? And this is like Minority Month.
Yes.
April.
April is Minority Health Month.
Right.
It actually has been in existence since like Booker T. Washington founded.
Yeah.
Who knew? I didn't know.
I didn't know either.
Honestly,
I was reading info and I was like, Booker T. Washington?
We literally see a majority of minority patients, and we didn't know it was a thing until they
Really?
asked us to. Yes. And we were like, oh my God, who knew? Because for us, every month is Minority Health Month. So it's not like, you know. But apparently, the U.S. Congress in 2002 decided to make it an actual
And they keeping it
recognized
quiet.
month. Well,
Apparently.
Why they keeping it quiet? Don't get me into a political conversation.
I'm going to let you
with y'all,
answer
but
that,
don't
Dr.
answer that.
Sotras.
Doc.
Don't get me started
No,
either.
I ain't gonna get you started either.
However,
Because she done already gave me the mama look now.
You saw it defer to her. I was like, I'm going to let you answer that one.
Nope. I ain't playing with you.
I'm very happy that
I'm gonna have to. I just want to know. I'll call your people and tell them I had nothing to do with it. Okay, I just want to tell you that now.
We are ecstatic that
Okay.
it's a month.
All right.
absolutely, because it's super important for minorities to get the health care that they need by a lot of times by people that look like them.
Yes.
Because more likely to accept the counsel,
Yes.
the medical counsel needed.
Mhm.
So I'm super happy that there is a month, although I just found this out. But I feel like LCMC has been working towards getting better community outreach and better healthcare for minorities in general.
But I feel like the reason we literally do this every day, all day,
Yeah.
every day. It's not one day where I don't see a patient who looks like me, or that I'm not dealing with a minority health issue. So for me, it's like I don't really need a month because it's my existence is the month, and it's a big part of like what I do and like my passion for being a doctor has a lot to do with like minority issues. But of course, you see the whole breadth of patients. But I do get joy in making sure that the people who I represent get the healthcare that they need.
What's interesting to me is though that we still have, especially here. So, 20 years after Katrina? To me, if you were here before Katrina and you're here after Katrina, you still see the difference because we still have, I would say, food deserts. Number
Yes.
one, and then we still have deserts for people that are living places where they can't get to or they have to travel long distances to get health care.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I was still trying to figure out, how do we fix that, especially when we start talking not healthcare with a hospital, but healthcare with a system.
Yes.
Because we're in a system now. What, I have 9 hospitals.
9.
And I'm just trying to figure out, how do we, and if y'all figure that part out, I just want you to know I'm going to present it. so how do we get more health care to the folks that need it, that you see and you see?
Right.
It's hard because I think we need more doctors in general. And I think there's a shortage nationally of physicians.
Really?
And absolutely, there's an absolute shortage. And not only of physicians, but minority physicians. And whenever you go and see a graduating medical class, you will see that we are very few,
Yes.
unfortunately. So there is definitely a massive need of more physicians so that we are able to spread out, because right now a lot of us are in the bigger cities.
But don't, and this is because I know, and I know this is not pretty much, but you all had to go through the same thing. To become the doctor, you had to be matched.
Yes.
When you get out after you done your all of your studies, you get matched, and you have to go and spend that time at that hospital as a resident.
Right.
Am I right in saying that?
Do you want to know a fun fact?
Who
We
you
trained at the
matched?
same place.
Where did y'all go?
EJ.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
We both did East Jefferson Family Medicine residency. She was my upper level, so she was my boss for 2 years, and then she graduated and moved on, and I had 1 year by myself as a when she wasn't there. But she was mean to me. I'm just kidding. She wasn't.
You
She
saw my
wasn't.
eyes. You saw my eyes.
I'm just kidding. That's a joke. She wasn't.
No, don't play. Because I was about to sit back in front of the table. I was like, she come across that table, it's going to be some mess up in here.
But no,
You saw my
You
eyes?
saw my eyes? I was like, oh, I seen her eyes one time today already, and she ain't been
Oh
here
my
10
gosh,
minutes
I
yet.
know, right? But we still we're still, But I would say that one of the things that, like, with the match that was important to me was focusing on a program that allowed you to get the right skills and also I knew I wanted to be a primary care doctor. I knew I wanted to do outpatient medicine. So I made sure that the residency program I went to focused a lot on that. And so when you get that good training and then you bring it to the community, like, I'm from the West Bank, born and raised. So I wanted to make both of us, actually.
Both of us. Yep.
You
Can you
know,
believe
You
it?
act like you from Algiers.
oh no, I'm from.
I was born in
Marrero.
Algiers. Charity baby.
See, there it is.
See?
I
And
knew.
a charity
I
baby.
knew.
See, so I wanted to make sure that in my practice, I went back to serve the community that raised me. And so with that comes a lot of opportunity to see minority patients, to give back to that community. And now I have, like, neighbors and friends of my mom, and some even, like, my aunts and my cousins that come to see me. And it's always such a huge honor when I'm like, oh, y'all really trust me. Like, and then you
It's
do
a
the
double-edged
things.
sword, though, because they
I know,
will call
because
my
I'm
mom, and they'll be
calling
like,
you
hey, I'm out of my
Girl, I got
meds.
this cough, right?
Yep. It is a
That-
double-edged
that
sword.
6
What
a.m.
do-
text message.
What do I do? What you got? Can you get me something?
Actually, she sees my. I trust.
She sees your mom?
Yeah,
sure
she
does.
sees my family members too.
Yes,
Yeah, we
that's-
trust each other that much.
I've been to him. I'm gonna start calling y'all cousins.
Basically at this point, basically. But yes,
So, but that's great. I mean, you're serving home.
Yes.
both
Absolutely.
of you are
Absolutely.
serving home. So when you see that there is a month, minority month, healthcare month, and you're now looking around and saying, what, we're living in a city that has 66% African American base,
yep.
and you're also looking at other nationalities as well that are here, but you're still hearing these things about people not getting health care. And that, I guess that level, I could appreciate LCMC because I was talking to Doc over at New Orleans East Hospital.
Okay.
This had to be 10 years ago. And she did a presentation that had my mouth wide open. And she was talking about the number of minority women that don't get prenatal care.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what? I never knew that was going on. And it had to be 10, 15 years ago.
Which is crazy because you think, like, in a city like New Orleans that has so many like, we have a good group of OBGYNs that people, but a lot of times, I think especially now, people are still apprehensive about healthcare in general, particularly when you're someone from a minority background. And one of the things that Dr. Sotres does that I think is really cool is that she has the Hispanic Health Center. And so she runs a hub for Hispanic patients where everyone in that office speaks Spanish.
Oh, wow.
Which is huge. That's huge because, of course, we all see Spanish-speaking patients, but it is so different when you have a machine translating for you versus when you're talking directly to the doctor who can speak Spanish back
Dr.
to you.
Sotres, everywhere I go, they think I'm Latino.
Really?
I had people walking up to me into the convenience store. I was in a convenience store and some lady walked up to me and was like, I was like,
And what'd you say back?
I'm saying, "Mi no spino español."
Well, there you go. Pretty good
I had
accent.
to
You
learn it.
got
I
it.
had to learn
You got
it.
it.
I had to learn it. My
Yeah.
daughter was with me. She thought that was the funniest thing. And then the lady looked at me and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, mister. I thought you were one of us." I was like,
No.
that was the most prejudiced thing that I've ever heard.
I mean, we're cousins.
Yeah, it's minority.
But, I mean, it was fine. But I was thinking to myself, has the Latino population
Mhm.
picked up considerably here? Because I know
Oh,
after
absolutely.
Katrina,
After Katrina,
a lot of them stayed.
a ton of them stayed.
Right.
There's a huge Mexican and Honduran population, although there's still a ton of from all ethnicities, but mostly Mexican, Honduran, Guatemalan, Dominican, Puerto Rican. I think those are most of the people that I see.
Mm-hmm.
But having a place where everyone speaks Spanish was super important because it's not only
Mhm.
important for the doctor to speak the language, but a lot of times if you have an issue, if you need a medication refill, if you're feeling sick,
Mhm.
how are you able to get across to the front desk to make the appointment?
Mm.
How are you able to get through the nurse to tell you what your results were, or any issues that you might have?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big issue that people in the community were having, and this is my community.
Right.
These are my people.
Right.
So I know the issues that they have. So being able to work in a clinic where everyone speaks Spanish is super important, and patients are actually coming in, right? Because there are patients who, whenever we first opened the clinic, which was back in about 2 years ago, those first couple of months were hard, and not hard because I was doing hard work, it was hard because there were so many cancer diagnoses.
Oh,
So many
no.
people who had not gotten mammograms, who had not gotten pap smears, who had not gotten blood work. So much cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure. Oh, I was feeling fine, so I didn't think I would have to come in
Mhm,
to the doctor.
mhm.
And
Caught
so,
up.
Or they didn't have a place to go.
right,
Caught
So
up
that
with
was huge. And to this day, we have patients coming in from everywhere. And when I mean everywhere, I mean Mississippi. People come in from Mississippi driving 2 hours to come see me, which I think is a huge honor. But that just shows the importance of having a clinic like this.
So there's not that many.
There's not.
No.
We were the first clinic. Now there's more. Now there have a couple of other Spanish clinics that have opened. But we were the first one 2 years ago to open where everyone spoke Spanish.
Yeah.
That's
Isn't that crazy?
unbelievable.
Isn't it?
That's
Right?
really
Isn't
unbelievable.
it?
And today,
Yep.
In today, and there's in other places like Houston, Los Angeles, Miami, tons
Yeah,
of them. But
right,
here in New
right.
Orleans, we were
and
the
you
first
got a
one.
melting pot here.
Absolutely.
You got
Huge
somebody,
melting
or
pot.
some of everybody here,
Mhm.
whatever
Yeah.
nationality.
Exactly.
But you would think that would be something that would have been crossed. That bridge would have been crossed a long time ago.
a long time ago.
But no,
Nope.
why?
Well, it was.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Go and tell it.
So honestly, I think
I was
it's.
playing now. Don't get in trouble. I was playing. She gave me the look like, all right.
They got to come
you
up.
rolling
The
in?
whole show's gonna
Look.
shut down.
I was going to get ready to say, all right, y'all, thank y'all for coming. Goodbye. I thought this was a living color. All of a sudden, you want to hear it? Here you go.
No, we need more Spanish speaking people in healthcare.
100%. We were literally
100%.
just talking about this over
But-
lunch.
But are
Yeah.
they there?
Yes.
Where are they?
That's the issue. We need to start getting people from, and it's not getting people from medical or getting them into medical school.
Just
It starts-
translators.
It starts from way before that. It starts from middle school, showing people and kids the importance of STEM, right?
Right.
And being able to get them interested in medicine. Seeing having scholarships out there, things like that, to be able to go to college, to be able to afford medical school and on, because medical
even get me
school
started.
is expensive.
Very expensive.
What is-
Even with scholarships, it's
It's
still
expensive.
expensive.
You know what is killing me right now? It's something that you said, and But what's killing me right now? Let me rephrase that. That did not sound good.
At least you're in good company.
But
Two doctors.
right. I know I ain't going out by myself. They got me. But Doc, one of the things that's making me go, what is going on, is the fact that you're hearing more people that have cancer diagnoses
Yes.
than any other time in my life. I'm like, what is
Yes.
going on? As much as we've progressed
Right.
with diagnosing and coming up with I wouldn't say cures, but treatments and things of that sort. But you're starting to hear more people now, breast cancer with women. You're hearing colon cancer with men and women,
Right.
and young people.
And that's why preventative care is so important.
Yes.
Right? Because being able to detect a breast cancer in stage 1 versus stage 2 is huge. It's
Yes.
very, very different.
Really?
So my mom is a breast cancer survivor. She had breast
My
cancer.
sister is.
No, she was 44, so she was really young when she got it. And they thought it was going to be stage 1 breast cancer. So at that point, they said it's going to be a lumpectomy. They do a little surgery, take the cancer out, 30 days of radiation, and you'll be done. Right? It wasn't. It had already gone through the lymph node, making it automatically stage 2. And at that point, we added 6 months of chemo, which chemo is hell.
Yes.
It absolutely is. So being able to detect cancers early is just of vital importance. And that's why I press all of my patients, and Dr. Joseph too, every year, making sure you're up to date with your mammograms, making sure you're up to date with your colon cancer screenings, making sure that in African Americans are high risk for prostate cancer.
Get that
So
early.
get that at 40 instead of 50. So things like that are super important because prostate cancer, breast cancer, colon cancer, what's your family history?
If you're a smoker, make sure you get that
Right.
cute little lung cancer screening.
Right, your AAA screening
Your
also.
AAA screening.
So there's a ton of screenings that can be done.
Cervical cancer screening.
Absolutely. Starting at the age of 21.
Yes.
It does not matter if you've been sexually active or not. At 21 years old, you should get it. Making sure you're vaccinated, your
Yes.
HPV vaccines for men and women to prevent cervical cancer screening, throat cancers, anal cancers.
Right.
So all of this preventative stuff can be done.
I just felt like I got prodded and poked.
But that's why you need a
Right.
PCP.
I-
That's literally what we
I
do
just
all
felt
day
like
long.
I just got prodded and poked.
We do this all day long. This is
Really?
literally our bread and butter.
Yep.
Because we don't, so everyone's like, oh my God, if I go to the doctor, they're going to find something. Yeah, that can happen. But the thing that makes our hearts go boom, boom is when we get to do the preventative stuff to make sure that our patients don't have those things later on. And I think a part of why we're finding more cancers, more diagnoses is one, because now we have the screenings to do that and more people are being screened. So it's not that necessarily it's more prevalent. It's just we're catching it, right? Versus maybe our grandparents, great-grandparents, they had these things, but they just weren't caught. Those things, people who die from old age, right? Was it really old age, or did you have like a cervical cancer that was never treated, or detected? But the big part is making sure, please, everybody, please have a primary care doctor who, if you have a question about anything, go to see them. If it's once a year, I have patients who say, well, I feel good. I don't feel sick. So I'm like, I like to see healthy patients too.
My primary is Dr. Johnson from St. Thomas.
Oh, yes. Okay.
I had to tell y'all about her when we come back. We got to take a break real quick. I'm going to tell y'all off air.
Okay.
So y'all get ready. More coming up, y'all. Everybody hold tight.
Attention, WBOK listeners. Are you a fan of the station and want to show your support in style? Well, we've got some exciting news for you. Introducing the official WBOK merchandise, the perfect way to wear your love for the station. Whether you're a longtime listener or a new fan, we've got something for everyone. Head to WBOK1230.com now and grab your WBOK gear before it's gone. When you buy WBOK merch, you're not just getting quality items, you're supporting the station you love.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana companies through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about what the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation does, please visit www.jazzandheritage.org.
The National World War II Museum, located in the Warehouse District of New Orleans. The National World War II Museum tells the story of America's experience in the war that changed the world, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. Visit them online at www.nationalww2museum.org for time tickets and safety information.
This is Andronika Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
This summer, let your child's creativity shine at Camp Art, New Orleans' most vibrant, arts-driven camp experience for kids ages 4 to 12. Hosted by Beyond the Stage, Camp Art blends visual art, theater, music, dance, and creative writing with New Orleans history and culture. Plus, field trips, guest artists, and camper showcases. With full-day programming before and after care and sessions starting June 9th, it's the perfect fit for working parents. Fun, enriching, unforgettable. Register now at beyondthestagellc.com/Camp Art and follow us on social media at Beyond the Stage LLC.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Damn, did I get diagnosed again? I did.
And we also fussed at you.
Yeah, I did. But I'm used to being fussed at, so I just need y'all to understand something.
What's your
That when
primary
it-
care doctor's name again?
Huh?
Johnson. We got her. We got
Yeah.
him, Dr. Johnson. Don't
We're
worry.
gonna, yeah.
Wait a minute, what'd you say?
We're gonna send her a note.
We're gonna send her a note.
No, it's Miss Peters. That's her.
Too late. We already got it.
Send Miss Peters a note. You'll find her. Exactly. See, y'all making me cut up in here, y'all. I see. I came. Y'all together?
No.
Y'all together all day?
No.
No?
So I'm at the West Jeff Hospital.
Yes, I'm at Family Doctor Slapalco.
Oh, so you on the West Bank?
She is.
No, we're
too.
on the West
We're like
Bank.
down the
Both
street
on the
from
West
each
Bank.
other.
I can imagine what the telephone calls sound like during the day. Are they bad?
Some interesting text.
Okay. We're going to leave that alone, too.
We'll
So
tell you
let's
off
get into
air.
the conversation pieces here about LCMC and specifically West Jeff Medical Center, taking part in the care of diverse community. Diversity. Why? Because everybody has different. My system is not going to be like a white guy's system or a Latino system, correct? Everybody's system can be different.
I think just in general, one of the things that I think that
So?
the new, no, I do not want any of that. I think one of the things that kind of like the modernization or the new thought process of medicine is that it's a blend of an art and a science. It's not just a science where it's like, do this medicine because you'll get this result. We also treat the patient themselves. So not just based on race, but also based on your just genetics and your actual lifestyle, right? Because if you're somebody who's going to want a little soda every now and then.
I wonder who that could be.
And then your treatment might be a little different than someone who is very stringent on what they are eating and making sure that they're exercising 150 minutes a week for cardiovascular benefit. So it just depends on you and then also your genetics. So we take all that into account when we come up with a treatment plan for patients.
Do you think, though, that we are improving? Sometimes I look at systems and I'm going to go back to where I was before. I really believe that we have come, technology, has come above where we were before.
Absolutely.
But what is it that we see now when you see all these folks are saying, oh, yeah, I got breast cancer. Oh, I'm a breast cancer survivor. Oh, I had colon cancer. Be like, wait a minute.
I mean, one of the other...
I just see it just
Part of
taking
it is
off.
also our diet, right? Colon
Yes.
cancer increases. So eating processed foods increase your risk of colon cancer.
smoked
Smoked meats, red meats.
Smoked meats.
Yep.
Wait, hold up. What you
Yeah.
mean smoked meat?
Smoked meats, red meats, meat in general increases
just
your
meat- just meat in general.
increases your risk of colon cancer.
Yeah.
So the majority of our diet nowadays is very processed.
Especially in New Orleans, Louisiana, or Louisiana in general.
So part of
We
it
got
is our
butter
diet.
and everything. We got butter and everything.
Yeah.
I think there's some butter in my soda. I'm just saying.
I wouldn't be
Probably.
surprised. But so part of it is also our diet. And the fact that we are not eating as healthy as we used to. I have a lot of my 95-year-old patients who are sharp as a tack, walking around, doing all of their things, day-to-day things, and I ask them, what's
What's the secret?
the secret? How can I be like you when I'm
Right.
95, right? And most of them have eaten, because in a lot of Latin American countries, you grow your own food. If you want to eat chicken that day, you kill the chicken that you've grown organically, right, to have your chicken for that day. So a lot of that, I think it's also your diet and activity level, being healthy, trying to be active, super important. But I also think, like Dr. Joseph was saying, is the detection that we're getting, right? Colon cancer is one of those cancers that is kind of a slower growing cancer. That's why we do the colon cancer screenings every 10 years. So the detection, I think, is just getting better. People are getting more screenings also.
Also our environment. So we live, if you go ride down the Mississippi River, what do you see? Chemical plants, right? So
Yeah,
all
we're
of
in
that
Cancer
waste
Valley.
exactly. There's something called
Yeah.
Cancer Alley. We
Yep.
know all those river parishes. There
Yep.
are higher incidences of cancer in those areas. And why? It's because a lot of that is the off products of those chemical plants going into the soil, right? So a lot of those things, we are not supposed to grow food in that soil.
Right.
And many of us do consume and that affects minority communities too,
I was
because
going to
who
say
lives,
that most of them are in minority
who lives
communities.
in those communities, right? I can't remember where it was. It's one of those communities along the river, and they were saying that like in a 3 mile or 3 block area, almost half of those people, if not more than half, had a cancer diagnosis at some point.
Right.
And that's not just
Right.
race. That is environment. So there are so many social determinants of health that affect your health. That's literally a big part of medicine as well that we can't ignore.
I was talking to two of the doctors, well, they're sisters, and they have acknowledged the fact that they've bought some property down there because of the fact that they don't want, a lot of these different petrochemicals to be opened up. Plus, you're looking at all the different aspects of grain and what that brings to it, because they're going to be offloading the oil, offloading grains, and offloading all these different things from the railroad tracks. They're usually in those areas of those big manufacturing. They're in minority communities.
100%.
And you got the railroad tracks.
Yep.
Goes back to the old saying, where you live? On the other side of the tracks.
On the other side.
Yeah. So those things, even though that they say them in a pun, they really do have some truth to them.
100%.
So we are in a situation now, and I don't want to get into a political conversation with you, but we're in a situation now where we're going to see a lot of environmental laws change. We're seeing them now through this government along with the U.S. government. But we're also going to see probably some, rules change to allow big business to do what they do without the factors of health involved. Does that bother you?
More than you can think.
Okay.
More than you can think.
Your eyes really tell a story. Every time she says something, but she's not being political, we're going to work on your poker face.
It's horrible.
She does not have
one.
She
don't have one.
Have a poker
By horrible,
face.
she means it doesn't exist.
But more than you can, it's absolutely horrible. But all that we can do is be there for our patients, and do what we do, preventative care, right? And if there's something going on, try to get the right treatment and the right diagnosis for our patients at the end of the day.
As early as possible.
As early as possible. And that's all that we can do as doctors, unfortunately.
Wow. How do you tell people, and I don't want to say make them, but get the believability that they need to go and get themselves checked? Because men don't like to go to the doctor.
Right.
I don't think anyone really likes going to the
No,
doctor.
men don't like to go to the doctor.
I like going to my doctor.
Men
Well,
don't like going to the doctor.
I am quite nice. I'm just kidding. No, but I think it's important just for everyone to go just once a year, and it is hard. But if you would not, for men, I put the example of a car, right? You make sure that your car is tip-top shape.
That is not a good comparison.
You don't make sure your oil is changed?
You cannot compare my car.
No, but you're more important than a car.
No. It got to sound right, got to look good, got to be washed clean. I take better care of the car sometimes.
Happens all the time.
And that's exactly the problem. You are more important than a car.
Okay.
So if you would take care of your car and you make sure that it's nice and washed and it has its oil change and all the things are done, it's the same thing you should do for yourself at least once a year.
Right. I started
And
by...
if you have to use that as a comparison, you know it's not happening.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. I started by kind of shaming people that I know into going to the doctor. So like even in social settings, the first thing I ask is like, you have a primary? I'm like, hey, yeah, this is so much fun. I love this song. Do you have a primary care doctor? Have you gotten your colonoscopy? And they're just like, what? And I'm like, yeah, come see me, So it's a little bit of that, but also that's why representation matters, right? Because if I'm in the places where people that look like me are, and they can say, oh, this person's very relatable. Like that's something I get from my patients a lot of that. They're like, you're so relatable. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just a person who wants people to live longer and healthier. Like I don't think of myself as like this God complex, which I think has been the way that some people have looked at doctors in the past, where it's like these doctors are hard to talk to. I don't understand what they're saying. They don't know how to talk to me like a normal person. They don't know how to explain things to me like a normal person. So a big thing of what I do, and I know because she trained me, a big thing of what Dr. Sotres does too, is we talk to our patients like normal people,
right.
And I think that building that relationship, particularly in that first visit, right? Because people are going to say, I love this doctor, I hate this doctor in that first 5 minutes, right? So building that and saying, oh, hi, welcome. Thank you. I'm glad that you're here. Let me know what you need. What brings you here? What do you think we want to talk about? And having that open conversation where people feel comfortable talking to you, like for real, is a big part of it.
Well, you got 6 on one hand, half dozen on another. And the reason I say that is because what does come to you all, and there's no fault of you all, what does come to you is that if you do talk to the person, you're trying to convince them to do something. If you don't talk to the person, then they be like, I don't like that doctor because they don't talk to us. And that's why I say it's no fault of yours, because for so long, you're right. The doctors did not talk to the patient, and they just said, came in, cold hands, this is what you need to take, and walk out the door.
And even talk to you in medical terms that you didn't understand.
Yeah. Get them this, blah, 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 and the nurse would be like, yes, doctor, and you're out.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I think a lot of it has changed, and the way we're trained changed too. So before, and at least because we went to different medical schools, but at Ohio State, where I went to medical school, they were very much patient-centered.
Yes.
Right. So you're the patient. You're there for the patient at the end of the day. Right. That's why you're there. So making sure that patients feel comfortable with the treatment, understand what's going on, making sure the patient takes ownership of their own health. That way we can help them and they can actually follow through with what you're saying.
Well, here's the other 6 on one hand, half dozen on the other. You ready? Both of you all look young.
Yeah.
So,
the creams are working, I'm telling you.
But the older patients are like, baby, give me somebody else. Yeah.
No, actually, so now I get patients who say, thank God I have a young doctor who's going to live longer than me. So that way you'll be my doctor for the rest of my life. They're like, my doctors keep retiring on me. Oh my God. Like, you know, but I do get a question about how old I am. And I'm usually ask them, how old do I look?
I've
and
gotten my heart broken, so I don't ask that anymore.
But when they answer younger, I tell them they're right. I'm like, oh my God, go get a lotto ticket. You're exactly right. I am 26. I am not 26, but if they say that, I take it. You know, so I think it's just a matter. I'm serious. Why would I tell them my real age if they think I'm younger?
I was going to say 25, 26.
Awesome. And go get a lotto ticket. You're exactly right. You're on it. Right on the money.
And if I lose, I'm coming back and be like, you must be old as Methuselah.
Am old as Methuselah. You see, I know what that means. That means I got a little seasoning on me.
Just heard your grandma and your grandpa use that before. That's all that means.
But I think it just depends. And again, that's about building rapport because it doesn't matter how old you are if your patient trusts you. You don't have to be old to be trustworthy.
But a lot of the older patients may have that trust issue.
My patients are just happy to have someone who speaks Spanish.
She's right.
So my patients are perfectly fine with my age.
Really?
She's right.
Well, I had something else to say, but I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave that part alone altogether. Ooh, help us, Jesus.
They're not gonna let us come back.
No, y'all are fun. I mean, but this is the type of conversation that I wanted to have. I don't want it to be. One of you all's doctors, he left, but I think he went to Atlanta. But his I'm put it to you to show you how small the world is. I'm not originally from New Orleans. I'm originally from Durham, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
So
that's where Duke is.
Yes.
Yes.
And my mother worked 22 years at Duke.
Wow.
Okay. Well, my sister is also still there, but she's like the chief administrator, one of the chief administrators at North Carolina Central.
Okay.
And she had breast cancer. When I told Dr. Stewart that was here, who was the head of the cancer unit prior to when I first started doing these interviews with LCMC. And he was like, that's where I came from.
Oh, wow.
And I told him who the doctor was, or the surgeon was that was doing the surgery. He said, I trained her. And he called her and was talking to her about my sister's chart. So it made me feel,
right.
You know, because usually when you hear something like you got cancer,
it's scary.
Back in the day, I'm going to just say back in the day, you was going to die.
Right.
And that just scared the heebies out of me. And he was like, man, we got this. I'm like, all right. So he calmed me down, which made me then go and calm her down.
Yeah.
And I was like, the guy that's, that trained her, I talk to him every day. And she was like, really? I'm like, yeah, every day. So she started listening to my show just to hear the interview with him.
No,
She
but
wasn't
that's,
Oh,
listening before.
So she didn't know.
no,
I
but
was like,
that's,
oh, aren't you supportive?
no,
Damn
but I
it.
think that's something that you need. You need doctors who care,
Right.
Mhm.
who are empathetic,
Mm-hmm.
and who make you feel like you are their only patient, right?
Yes.
And that they are going to go to bat for you.
Yes.
Especially as my mom went through her breast cancer and everything, and having a doctor who just said it's his favorite thing, Dr. Kaminsky, who's actually still a surgeon at LCMC, he would say, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of your world. You will beat this. You'll be fine. And the confidence that it gave my mom, I got this.
Mhm.
And a lot of times patients us telling patients, yes, you have this, but you got this,
Yeah.
right? And not only for cancer, but for many other things, for high blood
Right.
pressure, for diabetes,
For a rash.
right. You got this.
You got this.
You
It'll
got
be
this.
What'd you
fine.
say?
Yeah, you got this. You can change
Right.
by
Right.
your lifestyle modifications, by taking your meds, by being constant, come to the doctor. It
Right.
really does help empower patients to take good control of their health.
Y'all want to take some telephone calls?
Sure.
All right, 504-582-9422. The doctors are in.
Ooh.
What you say, Natalie?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Hi, I'm okay. Hi. I was calling in because I know it's Child Abuse Awareness Month, and I've been, having issues with New Orleans Police Department.
Okay, that's not what we're
And-
talking about right now, so you probably want to do that another time.
Okay.
okay.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. All right, we'll get into some other conversation then, but right now we need to talk to the doctors about health, your health. This is Health Month,
Yes.
April.
Yep. Minority health.
And what I don't want is, and I want to make sure that people understand this, and I need to put a disclaimer out here. If somebody does call you and want to talk to you about, hey, I'm going through something, this is what's happened to me, da-da-da-da, you all are not giving them a diagnosis.
Correct.
No.
We are not.
They need to see
Their own
Their
doctor.
their primary health.
Yes.
So I'm giving you your disclaimer right
Thank
now.
you for that.
Because if something is going wrong, you might be able to say, hey, here are some of the signs, but until they see a professional,
Absolutely.
this is not a diagnosis over the air.
No.
Correct. Because
Okay.
there is very little that we
You can diagnose over the air.
Yes.
And you wouldn't want that.
But you are Superwoman. You can do that.
Not at all. Because even no,
Did she just keep going?
She said, not at all.
not at all. No, and a lot of times, even whenever my own patients call and they want to do a
Mhm.
telehealth appointment,
Mhm.
right? It's sometimes I'm like, look, you have a cold. It could just be a cold.
Right.
It could be you could have pneumonia. I don't
Right.
know until I listen to your
Let me
lungs.
touch you.
Mhm.
Right. And so a lot of times, even for my own patients, I'm like, you have to come in so I
Yes.
can see you, so I can properly diagnose you.
Right.
Physical exam, super important.
Telehealth. What is telehealth?
Telehealth. So telehealth is whenever we do a audio visual visit, basically. An audio visit. So basically, through like Zoom, the Zoom application, I'm able to see you and do a visit over the phone, essentially through a video call.
Okay.
But it has to be appropriate. Not
Right.
that's what she was saying. Not every visit, like chest pain. Please don't, please.
Please go to the ED.
Yes. Yes. But
You're having
also,
chest
please don't
pain.
try to see me virtually for chest pain. Like,
Right.
I can't do it. What am I going to do?
I can't
You
take
know?
my shirt off and say, look. Look.
You'd be surprised.
No.
You'd be
Right.
so surprised.
And even sometimes for something
Oh, I'm
as easy as a
joking.
You would
rash,
be surprised.
it's like the pixelation sometimes doesn't, and you can't see. And they're like, but look. And I'm like, I'm trying,
I'm looking.
but someone's internet isn't working well and I can't really see you, so you're going to have to come in.
I love how you don't put it on them. It's like one of our connections, I'm not sure which one, but one isn't working. But we just try to be there. I think telehealth appointments allow us
I
to
was playing.
Oh,
no,
you would be surprised.
No.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we can do some telehealth, and I do a fair bit of
Me too.
telehealth visits, a lot. But it has to be the appropriate
Yes.
scenario, for sure.
No, it's real. It's a thing.
Yeah, it has to be the appropriate one. But we do a good bit of telehealth visits. But
I think I bit my lip.
limited.
I think I bit my lip.
I love that you were joking. We're like, no, that has happened. Yes. Well, that's it's part of it. It's part of the joy.
I was playing. I need y'all to say we playing too.
No, we're not.
Okay, we need to take a break. We need to take another break. Ew. Okay, we'll be back. More coming up in just a few minutes right here on WBOK.
Trying to grow your business or increase traffic to your location? We can help. WBOK 1230 AM has a number of solutions that will meet your individual needs. Give one of our consultants a call today at 504-582-9420 or email us at info@wbok1230.com. And remember, an investment with WBOK is an investment in our community. Call today.
Connect with NOLA Public Schools. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X for the latest updates. Sign up for District Digest, our official newsletter where we share district achievements, celebrate student successes, and keep you informed about our vision of providing a high-quality education. And don't miss our school board meetings. Watch in person or live stream on YouTube. Stay informed. Stay engaged. Visit NOLAPublicSchools.com today. Again, that's NOLAPublicSchools.com.
Hi, this is Arnie Filko. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events to sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join Carrie and I every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Carrie Show. See you soon.
From the East Bank to the West Bank, WBOK is what New Orleans is talking about. WBOK.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Yes, indeed, we are having a conversation today. Woo.
We're not going to be invited back.
Yes, you are.
Good.
Am I saying this right? Sotres?
Sotres. Yeah.
Sotres. Okay, I wanted to make sure. And Shante Joseph.
Yes.
Doctor. Both of you all are doctors. Family Medicine Hispanic Health Center at West Jeff Medical Center. Dr. Sotres. Sotres.
Yep.
I'm going to get it right beforehand. I might sound like I'm drinking. I probably need a drink. And Dr. Shante Joseph, West Jeff Medical Center as well. I want to thank both of y'all. This is the first time we've had really a conversation. So
Really?
Yeah, this is the first time that you all have been here.
Oh, it is the first time we've been here, yes.
Why'd you say really?
I thought you meant like just in general.
We thought we were special.
We did.
I'm just wondering when y'all going to take this on the road.
We could. Don't tell us.
For the right price. No, I'm just kidding.
Be like, I used to be a medical doctor. They'd be like, right. Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. What about COVID, though? Because all of a sudden, we were in COVID. Then we were out of COVID after a while.
COVID hasn't gone away.
At all.
And now I'm hearing that it has not gone away.
It has not gone away.
I don't think it's going anywhere.
No, I think it's basically become like the flu.
Yeah.
Right? So every year you get a flu shot, and every year people can get the flu. Every year you should get a COVID booster. Every year people are getting COVID.
Every year you should get one?
I think
likely.
It's probably going to be every year. I think they've been pretty much putting the one out every year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it's going to continue that way. But as of now, and you pretty much have a lot of the same symptoms as you did with the flu.
I don't get the flu shot.
Ever?
I got the flu shot 1 year. This is honest to God truth. I got the flu shot 1 year. After I got the flu shot, I got the flu.
You probably didn't get you had a positive flu test, or did you feel sick?
I was not sick at all. I took the flu shot, and then maybe 3 or 4 days later, I got sick.
Let's debunk this myth.
That's not a myth.
It's not
a myth.
Not that you got the flu. It's just that you were training your body to react to something that looks like the flu. So your body was literally doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah. It was your immune system reacting to a thing that looks like the flu, even though you didn't. Because you having the flu means you had a positive flu test. So if you did not have the flu, you were just reacting It's
To
your
the
immune system. It's
vaccine.
like you know how like you felt terrible after you got that first COVID shot? Same thing.
Dr. Joseph.
I'm just telling you, this is a myth. This is literally, I used to go on a whole tirade every day about this, but
So-
now
I don't agree.
now
so
I'm tired.
basically, what a vaccine is you're showing the bad guy
see
the
his face.
picture of what it is, so that
Yes.
whenever it does see it, it knows
Mhm.
what to do,
It's-
right? And it basically that shows all of its weaknesses.
Exactly.
So you're preparing, and your body prepares for it,
It's
and
like
that's
you
why
going to
you
the
can
Super
mount.
Bowl without practicing
Right.
ever.
So that's why you can mount a fever, you can mount chills, body aches, you can feel like not great.
You
but
are looking
it can
unconvinced.
protect you
I
from
am,
the
I'm
flu.
very-
However, not all vaccines are 100%.
Yes.
So could it be that maybe you were just very unlucky and got the flu after you got the flu shot?
I have not taken that flu
Maybe.
shot since, and I have not gotten the flu.
Well, maybe you are lucky.
I got
But
that.
I have seen people sick as can be
Mm-hmm.
to catch myself from the flu, from the actual flu, like flu A.
Yeah.
Like somebody gets flu A, they are out for a week. They are miserable. They look horrible, and they come in and try to sneeze on you, and you're like, Let me give you some Tamiflu and get you on out of here.
Now, I
because,
took the
you know,
COVID shots, and I felt a little dreary probably after I took the first one,
Mm-hmm.
but that was it. I was good with that.
I mean, we get the flu shot every year.
Every year.
Because we come into a lot of contact
Of
with
course you do.
flu.
I mean, you're treating it.
Yes. So I encourage anybody, especially if you're immunocompromised, if you have diabetes, if you have chronic kidney disease, if you have cancer.
If you have babies around.
Yes, if you have
Yeah.
babies around, please get your flu shots because it's not only about you, it's about the people you're around.
Now, I'm starting to hear something you just brought up, and you brought it up. Chronic kidney disease.
Yes.
That seems to be more prevalent now as a conversation than I've ever heard.
Yes.
Talk about it.
Well, so CKD or chronic kidney disease, it is something that has been around for a while, but now I think we're focusing more on it. Now we actually have medicines that we know can help improve it. So it's one of those things that you know from your labs, like when we go to the doctor and we get blood work or labs. One of the labs that we get is like a CMP or a BMP, tells your renal function or your kidney function and lets us know how your kidneys are doing. So based on how well your kidneys filter, that's how we know what stage of chronic kidney disease you have. And so a big part of the counseling that we do for our patients is helping them not only, that's why you got to come to the doctor, because we can catch it early and help you reverse it or at least prevent it from getting worse.
So, chronic kidney disease is more prevalent now than.
So I wouldn't say maybe it's more prevalent, but we're catching it, I think, maybe earlier.
Yes.
And there are medications that we can give to help prevent the progression of it.
Yes.
So things like high blood pressure, diabetes can cause damage to your kidneys. That's why we are on people about having good blood pressure control, having good glucose control. Super, super important. Oh my goodness. Dr. Joseph will take that away.
Pour it
But
down
that's
I was trying to give her a sip.
I was trying to take it from you. That soda.
But that's why it's so important. That's why we're, so adamant about people having
Right.
those things controlled, because uncontrolled diabetes, uncontrolled blood pressure definitely affect those little thin nephrons, which is what
Yep.
makes up the kidneys. They're so delicate, and preventing them from getting injured is vital.
Well, my nephrons told me, my nephews told me that they were fine with me.
Lord have mercy.
My nephrons.
You know, I say Lord have mercy when I feel. That's because that's the.
Another
Had to call on you.
another one that I got to ask y'all about. Shingles.
Oh,
yeah.
I just treated somebody for shingles.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, I'm just seeing a lot of the commercials. Shingles
Yeah.
doesn't care.
Yes.
And I'm thinking to myself,
It doesn't.
Mm-hmm. So there's also a vaccine for shingles after the age of
Yes. Yeah.
50. But all of us who have had chicken
there
pox,
yet.
Me neither.
all of us who have had chicken pox, the virus basically lays dormant in the nerves and can come out at any time, in the most inopportune times, whenever you're sick, whenever you're immunocompromised. And so it's a very painful rash
Mm-hmm.
that can be treated. And for the most part, the majority of people, the rash and the pain goes away.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, it doesn't. And
Really?
They,
Yes.
And you continue with the pain post-neuralgic pain is what we call it.
Even after the rash goes away, you can
The
still have
pain
the pain
continues.
Dang.
for months.
Didn't
Yep.
know that. Is that
And-
prevalent in more minorities or?
No.
No?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But it also, depending on where it is.
Mm-hmm.
So if it affects the V1 dermatome, which is where the eye is, you can also cause blindness from it.
Yes.
So that is why.
What?
Mhm. Yep.
100%.
So if you're unlucky enough to get shingles around the eye, that can cause blindness.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why we tell all our 50 and above to go get your shingles
Please go get
vaccine.
the shingles vaccine.
Mhm.
It's really effective too. It's a good one to get. It may make you feel a little cruddy for like a day after you get it.
Yeah, I was gonna
but
say, does that make you feel cruddy
that
too?
one people complain about.
Yeah, that
Wow.
one does. That
But
one I
for
tell
like a
my
day or two.
Yeah, I tell my
I'm
patients to
complaining
do it
about
on
the
a
flu
Friday.
shot. I just
We
need to
heard
know,
it.
'cause
We
now
heard
they,
it.
Now they say that. Now I just need to ask, what y'all put in that flu shot? Is that also the flu in that shot?
So it's not
you
the
know that's
actual.
the
It's
rumor.
it's not a. Well, there are two types of flu vaccines. There is a live vaccine and an inactivated vaccine. The one that most of us get, which is the shot, is inactivated.
Yes.
So it's just basically pieces of the dead virus so that it can see it, and whenever it does come in, sees it, it knows what to do.
Mhm.
Now the live virus, it's an
See it.
yeah.
Well,
whenever
just-
you're like
yeah.
exposed to it, we're
You're
exposed
training
to
your
it
body to
all the
react
time.
to the real thing. It's
Yeah.
practice. It's
Well, I
literally
can look
practice.
at it in the thing. Look, I see you. I see you. Y'all can't have it back now. I have to take the shot. So thank you for clarifying that for me. So
That's not how it works. That's not how it works.
Inside.
I'm gonna just look at it from now on and be like,
Can you just show me that one? I'm good. I'm
Nope.
good for my year.
that's it.
That disclaimer, that is not how it works.
I'm gonna say, Doc told me all I had to do was look at it.
Your white blood cells.
Yeah.
That sounded discriminatory. You black blood cells now. How about that? Mm-hmm. You got Latino blood cells on this side. Nah.
Oh no.
Y'all know y'all in trouble after y'all leave here, right?
Yeah, they're gonna send us the email.
All right, let me ask this question here because y'all do have a telephone call. Miss Anita?
Hello.
Hey. What you say?
Oh.
You forgot why you called me?
Yeah, no. I heard y'all talking about that chronic kidney disease, right? So, they was telling me I had that. And, like, my numbers keep fluctuating. And, I was hearing them was talking about some treatments that they do. Can she tell me what kind of, because the medicine that they gave me, I can't take it because it caused me to have heart palpitation and
Okay, so
headache.
let me stop something real quick. Miss Anita, I'm going to let both of them answer this because I'm running out of time here. But I want you to understand this is not a diagnosis, right?
Right.
Okay.
So levels of the kidneys can fluctuate at times depending on how hydrated you are or dehydrated you are. So they can fluctuate at times. There are medications that are out there for CKD that are sometimes used for people, especially those that have diabetes. But really, it's on a case-by-case basis. But what I would do is I would go to your doctor and say, hey, I heard that there are treatments that can be given for CKD. Would I be a candidate for any of them?
Or if you're having a side effect to a medicine. So this is where I always tell my patients, it's an ongoing thing. So what happens is we give you a medicine, we try it out. You're not married to any medicine. So come back and say, hey, this one didn't work for me. Is there something else?
That's the same thing I did with
Right.
my high blood pressure medicines. Didn't work for me.
So,
And I
let me
got
ask you
right.
something. Y'all have
Real quick, Miss Anita, because I'm running out of time.
a kidney specialist. Y'all have a kidney specialist over at y'all hospital.
They have them throughout the area. I would say check with your PCP because it depends on if they take your insurance or
Depends.
not. So just
Right.
and ask them to
Okay.
send a referral, and they'll refer you to somebody who's in your network.
All
All right. Thank you.
Miss Anita, thank you, dear. Y'all come back. I enjoy
you.
both of you.
I enjoy you.
I'm
and I hope when I come back, you don't have
coming
this.
to your. I'm coming to your area.
Come on over.
You
I'm-
don't,
I'm
don't
just gonna
have
walk-
this when I come back.
No. I'm gonna finish it too when you come back next time.
He's gonna have a 2-liter just for you.
I'll be sharing. We have cups and everything. So y'all come back. Let's have some more conversations, and we'll tell all the folks when y'all coming so we can answer the questions. Okay?
Absolutely.
Docs, thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. All right, news is up next, folks. We got more in just a minute. Boom.
campus of Xavier University. WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
I'm Doug Davis with 4 things you should know with BIN News. Democrats Hakeem Jeffries and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are calling for an investigation into Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene, accusing her of profiting from stock purchases before Trump's tariffs announcements. Black Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock joined a weekly rally outside the CDC in Atlanta protesting recent funding cuts by the Trump administration. Warnock emphasized the disproportionate impact on red states, stating that now was not the time to be silent. The 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals has ordered Mississippi to redraw DeSoto County voting districts within 7 days to reflect its majority black population. Last year, the court mandated new House and Senate maps for other regions. And abortions in states without total bans rose slightly in 2024, totaling over 1 million. Self-managed abortions were not included in the data. Black women have higher abortion rates compared to white women. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Gerard Stevens with you. Y'all stand? Because I'm about to get into politics.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe y'all just got up. Y'all just got right on up at the same time. Oh, thank you for inviting us. We'll see ya.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
I'm serious. The both of y'all can't stay for politics? And both of y'all looking like... All y'all need to do is throw up some gang signs. you know we ain't coming in here. What's up with you? See y'all later. Oh, Lord. I want to thank Dr. Sotres and also Dr. Joseph for coming in and having some conversation during National Minority Health Month. They did a good job. Really enjoyed them. They were nice. Our doctors, y'all at LCMC. All right, 504-582-9422. I told you we had to talk about some other issues as well. And I don't even know if folks know this or not because it's interesting. One of the things that has been, I think, the pride of New Orleans was the fact that we were putting together an area where we could honor people. That honor was like a star on a Walk of Fame. You got your own star. Well, what do you mean? If you're doing something in the community, we could put a star down to say we honor you, right? Well, it looks like we're getting ready to say goodbye to that Walk of Fame. What? Yeah. Let me say it again. It looks like we're about to say goodbye to that Walk of Fame. Percy Miller, y'all know him as Master P, is blasting the New Orleans City Council for refusing to approve funding for the NOLA Walk of Fame project. Days after the council said it had questions about the project's budget and nominees. Master P has accused the council of obstructing the project while he's also claiming he didn't need the council's support. P said, "You are either a part of the problem or part of the solution. And one of the things that we need is more solution-based people. Hallelujah. I'm glad somebody said it. Y'all want me to call P? Y'all know I can call him, right? I'm serious. You know I'll call him. I can't believe that we have had not 1 year of this area of town being put down as the Walk of Fame. It's not been 1 year. And y'all didn't seem to have a problem prior to. Now we got a problem. Why? P, this don't have nothing to do with you. This has everything to do with what they feel about LaToya Cantrell. You, my friend, in this scenario, you just happen to be in the middle. Why? Because they knew this was going to hurt somebody's feelings. This is a beautiful issue. This is something that all of us can say is worthy of their commitment to New Orleans. So you all approved the budget, the city budget. This don't have nothing to do with you. This has everything to do with, oh, you ain't going to give us what we want. We ain't going to give you what you want. So we got a problem with it. But y'all approved the budget. So now you're saying that this is not worth it. Is it worth it to you all to have a Walk of Fame? As many folks as we need, that we know should be? So they got questions. So why are we just hearing the questions now? Because we got another list coming up? Is this because we got another list coming up? Come on, 504-582-9422. You got questions? Answer your question. So in an interview, after he blasted the city council, he spoke to one of the television stations this afternoon after a representative for the project asked the city council committee to approve $500,000 in Wisdom Trust funding. The council member said that they hadn't received clear explanations on how the money is going to be used. They also questioned the requirement that future honorees of their families must pay a $35,000 fee to get a plaque. And said, boy, I'm opposed to charging $35,000 to a community leader who might get recognized, says Councilman Eugene Green. You begin to look elitist. But doesn't that same number come from the Hollywood Walk of Fame? $36,000. Ain't that the same number? Because I could have sworn that's not free. By the way, I don't think y'all understand that. It's not free. Those people that get honored at the Hollywood Walk of Fame, you have to raise a certain amount of money. And if you can't raise that, you got to have somebody that's going to sponsor you. Same thing. I think it's like $36,000, or maybe even more. Now, what is the $500,000 for? That is the question. And do you think it's right or wrong? (504-582-9422). You think it's right or you think it's wrong? And be ready to tell me why. I'd love to hear more from you. But was that approved in the city budget? That's one we want to talk about. And I don't have a whole bunch of time to get it in. The second thing that I have to bring up is the fact that we have issues with the way that things are being done and then turned around, the narrative. I'm going to bring that up again today. So get ready. What you say, cousin?
Hey, cuz, how you doing?
Good. What's happening with you?
Yeah, I think you're leading to where's the money going to?
Mm-hmm.
And
$500,000.
Construction, huh?
$500,000.
Okay, the $500,000, where it's going to?
Okay. Where do you think it's going?
No. We're talking about what is the construction cost to set it up, and just if the $35,000 you pay for your name to be placed on the Walk of Fame,
right?
Where does that money go to each time you pay?
So I do know that in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, you just don't get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You have to pay. Somebody has to sponsor it. And I think that number is $35,000 or $36,000. I haven't checked on it in a minute. But if you get one on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, I think the cost is $35,000. It's either 35, 36, one of the two. But the question is, how much is it going to cost to do that construction? Is that a one-time fee, or is that a yearly budget issue and the number of folks? Then who's on the committee to decide on who's going to get those stars on that laying of those plaques? Who gets those stars, and who's the committee? Who's on the committee?
The question you haven't said yet, where is actually going to be, like what street and et cetera, 100 block, stuff like that.
What do you mean? It's already been set down. They've already done it once. So this is going to be like the second set of folks that are going to be placed down. So this isn't new.
What's the street? Where?
Hold on, let me give you the address.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So first of all, it's prominent historical landmark, proudly features engraved fleur-de-lis that honors notable New Orleans individuals who made significant contributions globally. These distinguished figures in entertainment, business, sports, politics, arts, and other sectors including renowned celebrities, visionary entrepreneurs, influential thinkers. They have left a lasting impact on the world. The global influence is a source of pride for our community and testament to the city's reach for the world stage. Nestled in the picturesque New Orleans riverfront at the end of Canal Street along the majestic Mississippi River. That's where it is, at the end of Canal Street.
Okay, because the aquarium has those monogram bricks there, and next to that you have the ferry landing. So that's why I was just saying, where then across the street from the ferry landing, you have the hotel.
So I guess I was wondering, but this says it already. I was wondering, were they permanently installed? And it says yes. The custom engraved fleur-de-lis permanently installed on Canal Street along the riverfront serves as a symbol of honor and remembrance, adding to the allure of the beautiful spot. Its beauty is sure to captivate and inspire all who visit. So it is a permanent place that they're going to be put as far as where they're going to be, at the end of Canal Street.
Well, since you are one of my favorite people, I'm going to put up the first $500 for us to $35,000 and have some of our other listeners do the same thing. So we will have your name included in the Walk of Fame.
I want to listen. If I wanted to be on the Walk of Fame, I want to do it when it's not a controversy.
Oh, all right.
I love you like a play cousin for real, but no, because this seems to be. I'm not certain, but this seems to be a play on LaToya Cantrell not giving the city council or not giving the school board the money for the schools. And since they're going to stop it, now they're coming up with the excuse of, oh, by the way, we don't know who the people are. We don't know who the committee is. And why is there so much money being involved here? And look, this man then went on television, then went on national television talking about it. So here we go again.
Yeah, as a city, we don't need all these different black eyes. With I use the word showcasing our politicians. So, we need to kind of keep some things in house.
And well, I've heard, several times folks questioning who were the folks that they chose. They didn't choose the right people, yada 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 yada. But that's not the only people. That was just the first round of folks. There are more to come. It's just like the Walk of Fame that they have in Los Angeles. They always putting somebody else down.
Right.
And this is over where, I think that everybody can see it. I know that when I looked at it, I said, man, this could be something great, whether we're talking about, historians, or whether we're talking about our religious leaders, or we're talking about those that made an impact as activists for this city. We can do them as well.
Right. I'll be more concerned about, I'm going to say, the real criteria of name selection and for, people that's alive versus people who are, have passed on as well. Because somebody might want to do something in memory of somebody.
Right. So can that be done by purchasing or raising money to purchase a star instead of a committee saying, okay, cool, let's put that person's name down?
Right.
But who would you want to see?
Well, see how it play out.
Because we saw Wendell go in. Who else we saw? We saw the football player that was the entrepreneur that went in. That's from New Orleans. I'm trying to bring them all up here.
also will say, like, how do you select a committee?
Okay, let me give you
On
the
a
names.
yearly basis that will be in charge of selecting the name.
Let me give you the names. Aaron Neville, A.P. Turo, Al Copeland, Alan Toussaint, Allison Tootie Montana, Anthony Mackey, Brian Gumble, the Williams brothers from Cash Money, Blaine Kern, Big Frida, Avery Johnson, Archie Manning, Carl Weathers, Cedric Richmond, Clyde Drexler, Khalid Muhammad, Drew Brees, Eli Manning, Irma Thomas, Gail Benson, Fats Domino, Dutch Moriel, Ellen DeGeneres, Ella Brennan, James Julian Coleman, Jessica Harris Dupar, John Baptiste, John Georges, Leah Chase, Dwayne Michael Carter, Mahalia Jackson, Marshall Falk, that's who I was talking about earlier, Mark Morial, Dr. John, Latoya Cantrell, Louis Armstrong, Mia X, Moon Landrew, Norman Francis, Aretha Castle Haley, Master P, P Fountain, Troy Carter, Trombone Shorty, Sidney Torres, Revis Ortiz, Reese Witherspoon, Peyton Manning, Todd Graves, Tom Benson, Tyler Perry, Wendell Pierce, Wynton Marcellus, and the Giving Hope Foundation. That's it for right now. So who's gonna be the next? Who's gonna be the next set? We'll see.
The plan is like one name, 10 names, stuff like that. You know, that's what I'm just asking as well.
Yep. We'll see.
All right,
I'm gonna
thank
see
you.
if we can get P to talk.
Okay, have
Probably
a
not
great
gonna
one.
be able to get him today, but we'll see can he talk to us for the week out.
Happy resurrection to you and the rest of the city.
You too. Thank you, there, cousin. Talk to you later.
I got a nut egg for you.
Yeah. Goodbye. More coming up, y'all. Everybody will tell you.
New Orleans, are you ready? A fresh voice in the city is here, bringing you the beats, the culture, and the stories that matter. From local music and food to real talk on what's happening in the streets, we've got you covered. Stay tapped in. Follow us on all platforms at WBOK 1230 for the latest updates and exclusive content. Your city, your culture, your news. Don't just hear about it, be about it. Follow us at WBOK 1230 now.
NOLA Public Schools is excited for the rest of this 24-25 school year journey with our families, watching our students dive into learning, growth, and success. As the school year continues, our dedicated educators are focused on keeping every student engaged and motivated. Let's keep embracing new challenges, celebrating achievements, and supporting each other to make the rest of this year even more impactful. Stay connected with your school and NOLA PS through our social media channels for updates and resources. We're here to help our scholars attend today, achieve tomorrow.
Hi, this is Cary Grant. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events and sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join us every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Cary Show.
South Louisiana Medical Associates seeks to hire a pediatrician to work in Houma, Louisiana. Duties include, but are not limited to: 1. Provide and manage direct patient care, including physical examinations, evaluations, assessments, diagnosis, and treatment for a specified patient population. 2. Prescribe pharmaceuticals, other medications, and treatment regimens as appropriate to assessed medical conditions. 3. Refer patients to specialists and irrelevant patient care components as appropriate. 4. Train and supervise medical students and residents engaged in specialty activities and procedures as appropriate. 5. May manage the daily operations of a specific medical program, patient unit, or research function. 6. Follow established departmental policies, procedures, and objectives, continuous quality improvement objectives, and safety, environmental, and/or infection control standards. 7. Perform miscellaneous job-related duties as assigned. 8. Complete and close medical records in accordance with company policies and procedures. This position requires a Doctor of Medicine degree, licensure through the Louisiana State Board of Medical Examiners to practice medicine in Louisiana, a residency in pediatrics, and eligibility for board certification in pediatric medicine. Apply for this job by submitting your resume and contact information to mjgarcia@slma.cc. Once again, apply for this job by submitting your resume and contact information to mjgarcia@slma.cc. That's mjgarcia@slma.cc.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. All right, my number 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. Having conversation. This is interesting that we are now talking about the New Orleans Walk of Fame, and the question is it going to be funded or no? And the number of dollars that it is taking to say that this is worth $500,000 plus $35,000. I'm like, okay, is there an explanation on that money? Joining us now, we've got the councilman on the phone. Councilman Eugene Green is on with us. Councilman, thank you so much. I know you're busy. How you doing?
Well, Gerard Stevens, thank you very much. It has been a busy day. Started off this morning in an unfortunate way. We found someone deceased in a homeless encampment. It reminds us of of how dangerous it is for people to live on the streets of New Orleans. And it also reminds us that the city is doing so much, its part, but sometimes those efforts don't have the results that we want. This was somebody who should have been in a shelter. He was walking distance from a shelter. He could have been there. There were available beds. And unfortunately, we don't know the cause of the death, but I know the cause of the death in general is living on the streets, no matter whether it's New Orleans or other cities. It's a dangerous place to be. I encourage everyone who is feeling that they need to be on the streets to recognize that every night there are available beds at the Sobering Center, also at Ozanam Inn, and also the New Orleans Mission. Please take that option. That's all. So, Gerard, thank you for this opportunity.
No, thank you, because I know that this is this was interesting, and a lot of folks may be in a position where they don't understand what's going on. But let me get a comment on and explaining maybe the New Orleans Walk of Fame. This was put together through the Cantrell administration with Master P, where they are honoring folks and giving them that star on that Walk of Fame at the end of Canal Street, closer to the aquarium in that area, right?
Yes, it's on the side of One Canal Place right now.
Okay.
So kind of between those two last streets
Mm-hmm.
on Canal Street.
And this, I thought it was a great idea. And then I read the story, and then they put a dollar amount to it. And I said, we need somebody to explain this to us. So we're talking about $500,000 of the Wisner funds. And then I saw another $35,000. What is that?
Well, according to the written proposal that we received on yesterday, or a written outline at a council meeting, I emphasize the word written because it was suggested that somehow or the other bringing up that figure was a political move. No, at the end of the day, we were presented with something in writing that said there would be a $250 application fee and $35,000 if you were chosen to be on the Walk of Fame. The merits of that, I don't necessarily question. I simply questioned because we were looking for community leaders and that we were looking for people who were making contributions in a variety of ways, whether or not that sort of fee would be something that would stop certain people from being able to be recognized if there was a choice to recognize them. Yes, I use Ruby Bridges as an example, who's nationally recognized. There are so many others, and I always want to emphasize that it was Ruby Bridges and three other young girls on that day. But I emphasize that one because, of course, we've heard the Ruby Bridge story. We know the movies. That might be somebody who you would want to recognize. But am I gonna go to her and ask for $35,000? And I simply express my concern, which I am consistent with, and I stand on what I said as a concern. Do we want that to be the fee for somebody to be on the Walk of Fame? And if they do want it to be, I would still want to see the proposal. I could be in favor of it depending on how it looked. But at that point, we're being asked for money. We're being asked for $500,000, which obviously could go to a variety of causes to support a Walk of Fame, which I did mention the city council had no input on, and I'm not accusing anyone of any conspiracy or having an agenda. It was just simply a fact. I speak in a factual manner. We were asked for $500,000. We were told that it was part of a $6.5 million project. We didn't have the $6.5 million. We had some questions relative to the committee makeup. We had some questions relative to the $35,000. I thought all of those were legitimate questions, and they can be answered.
So, honestly, Councilman, I listened to you. I heard you. I'm listening to the $35,000 fee, and I think I explained it a little bit more. I don't know if we're talking about New Orleans, or is that same figure the cost to have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? Because I think that's the price.
No, it was proposed for New Orleans.
Yeah, but that's the price to be on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, $35,000. So that's sponsorship. You don't just get a Hollywood Walk of Fame. You have to have somebody to sponsor that price, and it's usually $35,000.
Okay, I don't know those numbers. I don't know that that number was derived. I've got to tell you, Gerard, it's getting a little bit larger, but I don't mind confronting the fact that it's a little bit larger. We were simply asked to consider a proposal which was before us, which is in writing, which is why we were able to bring it up. That said, it would be a $250 fee and $35,000. To anyone who's listening who wants to see the New Orleans Walk of Fame happen, we're not saying that it wouldn't happen, but we're going to ask those kind of questions because we're public stewards of we're stewards of the public dollar.
So where does the $500,000 million go? Where
it was going to go toward? It was suggested it was going to go toward maintenance of the walkway.
For how long?
We didn't have that in the budget. I mean, we didn't have that in the proposal. There was nothing written that said that. But I do want to emphasize this. There was no ordinance that asked for the $500,000. When the question was asked, what are you looking for? Because at the end of the day, there was a presentation, and either Councilmember King or Councilmember Harris asked, well, what are you looking for? And it was suggested $500,000. It wasn't suggested. It was said $500,000 from the Wisner Fund, and that an application had already been submitted. Well, the application would have to be approved by the mayor, and then it's an expenditure, so it involves the city council. I think that our questions were very legitimate because we were given no information prior to that as to the decision-making process, what the budget was going to be, and we left there with questions. So I want to emphasize that no one said no. No one said it doesn't work, and I resent, to be very honest with you, the use of the word politics whenever there's a disagreement. There's a legitimate disagreement because we were asked, or at least we were told that we were going to be asked. No, we were asked because the application has been submitted to consider $500,000. That could potentially happen, but it's not going to happen without questions. People are going to ask me questions,
right?
So I want to have answers.
So I got more questions. Who's the committee that decides who these people are that are going to get the star or the Florida League?
There was a previous committee. I don't have it in front of me only because I called you. I appreciate your reaching out to me. I don't have it in front of me, but I'd be glad to share that. There was a committee that included a variety of folks, and then it was suggested that there would be a new committee makeup, which would include entrepreneurs and educators and a couple of specific people. I asked for a more specific makeup of who the committee members would be because I would kind of want to know, even if it was going to be an entrepreneur or someone else or a community worker or whoever it might be, or the representative of the mayor. It was suggested that there be a representative of the council. So there was certainly a recognition that there should be involvement by the city council some way or the other. And so that legitimately was going to be suggested, but we didn't have the makeup, and that's the question that I asked. We didn't have the budget for the $6.5 million. We weren't clear on the usage of the $500,000. Those are questions that we presented, and someone was going to get back to us with the information.
Because I just think there's a lot of questions, and I didn't know that those questions hadn't been answered. I thought this was a done deal project and that they'd be adding on to it. But when I saw the story, it made me say, wait a minute, so this is incomplete? So it's not funded already?
Well, I don't know because I'm not looking at bank accounts or any financial statements as to what money is available right now through those who wanted to do the project. It was suggested that there would be donations, that there was at least one donation from the Gold Ring Foundation, and that Master P was going to put up some monies. But I only look at, Gerard, the issues that are at hand because I'm a steward of the public dollars in some respect.
Well, I gotta agree with you. I'm not
question.
disagreeing with you. I don't
Right.
want you to think that I am. I'm looking at this and saying to myself, that's a lot of money to try to get somebody that needs to be honored. Because again, I don't see, and I'm just being honest because I just went through the names of the folks that are on there so far. But what about the pioneers of New Orleans? You know, where is the Reverend Avery Alexander? Where are those folks? Where's Ruby Bridges? Where is our three little girls that turned McDonough 19 into a community school and helped us desegregate these schools? Where is Leona Tate?
Gerard, I was not trying to be antagonistic, but I'll tell you what my question was, and it was the example that I used, and it was very relevant because we just unveiled a marker for the first Black woman to be a state representative, the first Black person to be the head of a
Dorothy May Taylor,
Louisiana cabinet. Right. See, I can give you those clues, and you know, as a New
I was there with you.
She was.
I was right there with you.
That's right. So the bottom line is that all that I was asking, and I stand on my ask, is, or I expressed a concern relative to monies that might be needed to be on the Walk of Fame. But if they wish to charge that amount, then we make a decision based on that. But it doesn't stop us from expressing our concern. And I express my concern short of politics. This was not politics, and I am not going to rubber stamp anything. I'm going to ask the questions that need to be asked, in my opinion, because, Gerard, you're going to ask me those questions, and other people are going to ask me those questions. And it's legitimate that you ask those questions and I have at least some kind of answer, because I know I can anticipate over these years what kind of questions are going to be asked. It's the kind of questions that you're asking now. If someone wants to do a Walk of Fame and they want to have a process that involves naming someone to the Walk of Fame that has criteria that is clearly outlined, then that is going to be something that I can say that I would either accept or reject. That may or may not determine whether or not Wisner funds would be available. But it is not politics to ask important questions.
And then you know, here's another important question. If I pay the $250 application fee, and then I do have an extra $35,000 that I raised or had in my pocket that I could write the check, is that a guarantee that I'm going to get my my fleur-de-lis?
Well, no, the walk fleur-de-lis would be based on your having been chosen as. You'd have to be chosen first, so you might raise the $35,000, you might have it, but it wouldn't be that you didn't know that you were going to be on the Walk of Fame. From what I read, you were going to be chosen to be on the Walk of Fame. You were going to participate in the commemoration ceremonies, and you were going to be on it. So that part was kind of clear. But the bottom line is that this was not an antagonistic process, but many more questions are asked of other projects than this. And in our questioning, we determined that there's a $6.5 million goal. I would like to know all those things, not because I want to stand in the way of seeing it done. Maybe there's a way to support something that needs to be done, like a museum, for example, or some sort of interpretive part of some sort of discussion of the history of those who are there. It could certainly promote the city. It might attract people to come to the city. I say all that is legitimate, but I ask the questions that I ask, not from a standpoint of politics, but let's see what we can do to make this happen and make the community feel comfortable with it.
So I'm a little lost on something that you said, and I need a little bit more information when you said it's a $6.5 million. Is this a $6.5 million project? What goes?
Yes.
What's the six?
Yes.
How
but
so?
We didn't have all of the details. We were only given details verbally. We didn't have the budget for it, and we asked for that budget because it would be part of a determination. $6.5 million invested might be great. It might bring us many more dollars in tourists coming to the city of New Orleans to see the Walk of Fame. But what we didn't have was specifics as to what was going to be involved with it. And that's an important consideration since it's part of an overall budget. All we asked for was for more information. Did we say it could not happen? We did not. We asked for simple information, which is the responsible thing to do. That's all. This was not council versus mayor. This was not council versus Master P. This was not Eugene Green versus anyone. This was simply asking questions that any legitimate party would want to have answered that we were going to have to answer later on. That's all it is. You're hearing my voice say, not everything has to be politics. You know, very honestly, we sometimes make decisions because we were elected by people to do a good job, to do the right thing. Because this project could be one of the projects that spurs development along Canal Street. Who knows? But when you come and ask for public monies, there are more questions that have to be asked sometimes.
So was there, I guess, if I had to see how this ended up, was this, y'all go back, take your proposal, and try to put something better together and bring it back to us? How did this end?
The specifics that were asked were, as we closed it out, there was no motion made to make any monies available. It was simply bring us back a budget, bring us back the composition of the board. We would like to see where the monies would be used in relationship to the overall project, because the project is something that is an important one that we could potentially offer support, because we didn't say that we wouldn't offer that support. It's just important to recognize that dialogue had to be established. It was our first time seeing anything regarding this project. The first time. The city council, I asked a very legitimate and straightforward question. Has any member of the city council been consulted relative to this project? The answer was no. So that is simply a reason. That's the start of questions being asked, not the end. That's the start. Let's get some of those questions answered, and let's have our public hearing. Let members of the public weigh in as to whether or not they think it's a good idea.
So the number of folks that have already been named. Let me try to find out this too, Councilman. I'm sorry I'm asking you all these questions, but I think the public needs to know this. So these folks that have already been named, from Aaron Neville, AP Turo, Al Copeland, all the way down here to Troy Carter and Trombone Shorty and Sidney Torres, I would have to ask the criteria of somebody that goes on the NOLA Walk of Fame, because of the NOLA Walk of Fame, I'm thinking that this is a person that's either from here or contributed something to the history of New Orleans.
Well, I think it's certainly legit to say that the intent was for them to recognize people who made contributions, who have been recognized for those contributions, a way of people seeing another side of the greatness of New Orleans, some of the people who have gone on to be recognized on a national level and certainly on a local level. The bottom line is that, you know, when you do 50, and I asked a long time ago, I said 50, and that's the beginning of moving forward, because in New Orleans, you could obviously recognize 100 people who've been recognized on a national level, or there's going to always be some subjective criteria. It's not going to always be objective. But at the end of the day, all the names that you mentioned are people who are recognized and who have made some contribution to the city of New Orleans. I don't take away from that recognition. I didn't even ask about who might be recognized in the future. That was not as relevant as I would like to see the committee makeup, and also at the end of the day, we would like to have some other questions answered relative to the role that the city's money might play in the overall budget. That's all. That's all we asked.
So not to hold you all day, but what's next? I mean, they're coming back with something, and when that can be expected.
I would imagine that something is going to come in writing to us as members of the city council, something for us to consider. For example, because we asked for specifically the budget and who the makeup of the committee might be. We didn't ask about the people who would be chosen. We didn't ask about a lot of other expenditures and all. I think that the issues that we asked about were very legitimate. And we still have the right to offer an opinion which may influence the overall process. I made it clear that I would have a concern. Let me use that word, a concern with regards to charging $35,000 for the persons who in my estimation, would be very legitimate candidates to be on a Walk of Fame. And some people, as I mentioned, might be deceased, and you'd be asking their families to come up with the money.
Right.
That doesn't mean that it wouldn't happen, Gerard. Maybe there would be monies from some other sources. Maybe there would be some private sector sources that would make that money available. But when you come to a city council and you ask for support for funding, we offer a lot of support for funding in various areas. It should be imagined that questions could be asked at any time that have to be answered. Yeah. And that's not just drawn because of politics. I gain no politics from questioning the Walk of Fame in terms of the money that are going to be spent. Those don't.
Well, you know what that was for. That was for the newspapers. That was for the newspapers and for the media. So.
But I'm not going to be. I'm not going to. It's not going to be something that is. I'm going to be an expenditure in that regard, or I'm not going to be something that enhances that. At the end of the day, I'm sounding a little bit unprofessional in that respect. It was not about politics. Not everything is. Sometimes when you're asked to spend money as a council, you have to ask the question. Right. That's all that was. Yeah. No agenda.
Well, I'm glad I'm just glad you asked the question, because I think a lot of questions are coming up out of this. I didn't know how this worked, but now we got an idea, and we're probably more than anything else, Councilman, we're expecting better. I think that's a good way to say we're just expecting better. So not from you all. Y'all did the right thing by asking the questions. So
thank you.
I appreciate it, sir. Keep me updated on this one. I think this is going to be interesting. But I appreciate you. I'm not going to hold you all day. I know you had a long day.
All right, Gerard, call me back one day, and I want to talk to you about the situation relative to those who are living on the streets, the message that we need
I know
to get
I know you had that on your mind, too. So I'll call you. We'll
Gerard,
talk about it tomorrow.
I am so you don't know how much death I've seen in 3 years on the streets of New Orleans with people who are homeless or drugged, addicted, and don't get the help they need. Okay, but thank you very much.
I appreciate you, sir. Thank you again. All right.
All right, Gerard.
Bye-bye. Councilman Eugene Green, y'all. We got to take a break. More coming up.
AURN News.
I'm Ebony McMorris.
I'm here at the airport. I'm about to board my flight for San Salvador. The goal of this mission is to let the Trump administration, to let the government of El Salvador know we are going to keep fighting. What bullies do is they begin by picking on the most vulnerable. But if we get rid of the rule of law and due process in the United States, it's a short road from there to tyranny.
That message was from Senator Chris Van Hollen moments before a flight to El Salvador this morning to demand the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland resident being detained in an El Salvadorian prison. Now, two House Democrats, Representatives Robert Garcia and Maxwell Frost, are requesting an official congressional delegation, or CODEL, to visit the prison where Trump's deportees are being held. But here's the catch. A Republican committee chair has to sign off. Without it, lawmakers can go informally, but they lose access to security protections and oversight power. For AURN News, I'm Ebony McMorris.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
Hey, let me talk to y'all about a public health crisis that we can't afford to ignore or debate. It's a message that is specifically addressed to parents and those of us concerned about the welfare of all children. Measles is back, folks. Not in the pages of a history book, no, not in a faraway country, but right here across our cities, in our schools, in our neighborhoods. To date, there have been 607 cases reported in 22 regions across the country. 505 of those cases infecting unvaccinated children in Texas, our neighbor state just west of us, where 2 children have already died from the disease. This highly contagious disease, which we once had on the ropes thanks to modern medicine, is now spreading like wildfire again. And let's be clear, it's not spreading because science failed us. It's spreading because we failed to listen to science. Unvaccinated children, through no fault of their own, are now on the front lines of a health emergency. Some are too young to be vaccinated. Others are unprotected because of choices made by parents who were influenced by fear, misinformation, or mistrust. These children are vulnerable, and measles isn't just a rash and a fever. It can cause pneumonia, brain swelling, and even death. The science about this is unambiguous. The MMR vaccine is, in fact, safe,
about,
effective,
Black and
and crucial to stopping this disease in its tracks. Yet, despite overwhelming evidence, vaccine skepticism continues to grow among those who initially questioned the COVID-19 vaccine's effectiveness. Fueled by social media myths and discredited studies cited by prominent people who, above all else, should know better. One of the most infamous skeptics was Robert Kennedy Jr., now the National Secretary of Health, if you can believe that. But at last, Kennedy is now urging parents to get their kids vaccinated against measles. This isn't just a personal choice anymore, it's a public risk, because when vaccination rates fall, herd immunity breaks down. What's that? Well, that means even vaccinated individuals, and especially the immunocompromised, are at greater risk. No, this is not the time to be ambivalent. It's time to speak plainly. Choosing not to vaccinate is not a harmless decision. It has real consequences. It endangers the lives of others, particularly the most defenseless among us. So, what can we do? Well, we start by using common sense and returning to facts. We need strong leadership from health officials, honest conversations in our communities, and policies that protect the common good. Schools and public institutions must take a stand. Vaccination should be the absolute rule, not the exception. To the parents who are hesitant, I urge all of you, talk to your doctor, please. Look at the data, understand the stakes. Vaccination isn't just about protecting your child, it's about protecting all of us. This outbreak is a warning for all of us to listen to science and do what's right. For the health of your child, for your neighbor, for your community. This is Norman Robinson, Off the Top.
I'm Grant Sashra.
And I'm Ro Brown.
Please join us for the Sports Report, Wednesdays and Fridays.
At 8 p.m. on WBOK.
The Sports Report. WBOK 1230 AM.
A star-studded lineup will unite in support of music education at the 2025 Jazz Heritage Gala on Wednesday, April 23rd at Generations Hall. The gala will feature iconic performances by the Ohio Players, John Clary and the Absolute Monster Gentlemen, Niger Kojo, and the Lanyap Section, and more. To celebrate a grand start to Jazz Fest, reserve your tickets at jazzandheritage.org.
Are you passionate about community safety and police accountability? Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor, we're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Get the facts and stay informed. We're breaking down complex issues, highlighting community voices, and holding people behind the badge accountable. Join us for an informative hour every Friday at noon on WBOK. Your city, your police, your show. The Monitor's Mic.
New Orleans, if you know a young adult or you are a young adult, listen up. This is your chance to level up your future.
Job One's Young Adult Career Expo is going down April 16th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 1307 Oritha Castle Haley Boulevard.
Put on your best outfit, grab your resume, and meet employers from across the city.
Some of them might even hire you on the spot. This is your moment. Get ready with Job One.
Tell a teen, tell a cousin, tell everybody 16 and up. Register now at job1nola.org.
Paid for by the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act.
From Gentilly to New Orleans East, WBOK is what New Orleans is talking about. WBOK.
The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. A few minutes here before we get out. Coming up at 6 today, Gary and Arnie is going to join you for more conversation. Make sure that you are checking them out. My conversation with Councilman Green, I want to thank you for picking up the phone and giving us some insight. But a lot of folks probably didn't know how this thing was working. I didn't. I didn't know how it worked. Do I think that is wrong? I don't know if it's in the budget and it's been budgeted and y'all got the money to do it. And you can tell me where that money going, because I got to pay $35,000. That's a lot of money for somebody that's not a multi-millionaire like they have multimillionaires and those folks that can sponsor that Walk of Fame in Hollywood, because that's how much they say it costs to sponsor somebody to get on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Now, does that mean that it's undoable here? No. I don't know if we bring in a piece of Hollywood to New Orleans, but I don't know too many folks in New Orleans that's willing to say, oh, yeah, by the way, let me get this application fee. Let me put down this other $35,000 if y'all say okay. And then you're talking about Wisner funds with $500,000 for maintenance. And who's sponsoring it? Who can we get to sponsor it? I know Mr. Bill Goldring can. I know he can. But again, that to me is going to be an issue. So, Piper, what you say?
Hey, what's up, G? How you doing this evening?
Good, man.
Yeah, but my thing is, we owe the school, or there's the debate about what the school's going to get, what they're not going to get.
Right.
I would say, this may be a great project, but if we can't give the school system the money it needs, whether it's the $10 million or the $20 million, everything should start there. It should be, the money for the Walk of Fame should be a non-starter until we pay the school what the agreed upon amount was.
I'm just trying to figure out too, and I know this is going to sound terrible, but for all the things that we have in New Orleans and all the things we need in New Orleans, we always hear we don't have the money, we don't have the money, we don't have the money. But we seem to find the money when we need to. And that's
when we want to.
Well, yeah, that's a good word to use. Want and need is a difference between the two. So either way you look at it, somebody gonna come up with something. Watch.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, brother. Have a good evening.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the call. All right, folks, that's going to wrap things up for me. Appreciate everybody for being part of the conversation. We will see you on tomorrow. We'll see you on tomorrow. Want to thank all of our folks, too, from LCMC for coming in. Carrie and Arnie up next, y'all. Y'all have a great rest of the day.
WBOK